ICB Cup 2020 ශ්‍රී ලංකා සහ කොදෙව් ක්‍රිකට් තරඟාවලියට අපගේ උණුසුම් සුබ පැතුම්.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Around the Wickets, and this time around we are quite happy to bring you this episode as we are meeting after a very jubilant victory of Sri Lanka national team, winning a series after a little while against a very strong opposition. West Indies did fairly well, Jehan, in India, but here at home, Sri Lanka have won the first two games of the ODI series, with that clinching the series. What was the output? Because I think this was a very, very welcome change for Sri Lanka cricket.
Yeah, it's good. We've had good batting and we won matches because of batting. That hasn't happened for a long time. In the past, we have won matches because we've managed to squeeze the opposition with the ball, and we've got runs from the top order. Which is really a good sign, because that means that the batting is now clicking and gelling together, and we have played this combination for a while. So whatever the faith that the selectors have had in the batting, finally it has come good.
Absolutely. First ODI was won by 1 wicket, Sri Lanka chasing down the score, and in the second ODI, Sri Lanka won by 161 runs, the biggest margin against West Indies ever, and that was a very, very clinical performance all round from both the batting and the bowling department. And Jehan, thoughts on the Sri Lankan win? The first one, of course, it was a heroic effort by Wanidu Hasaranga, but it's the second ODI victory that interests me the most, because when you look at that ODI, second ODI was played in Hambantota, and the highest score of a men's ODI without a six, without a maximum. Yeah. And that tells you a story there, because in the past, we were having a chat before the program as well. In the past, most of the time, Sri Lankan batting has stumbled trying to hit big shots where they were not available. But here at these grounds, they understood the fact that it's a little too bigger of a ground to go over the rope, so they tried to work the ball, and they were busy cricketers. Do you think that contributed in us getting a very good score?
So I think finally we have started playing the brand of cricket that we are good at, whereas we don't look for the big sixes, we time the ball well, maneuver the ball into the gaps and run our ones and twos very well, which is what we did in the first game. We did that very well up to the last man. Even when Manindu was batting with Sandakan, they did that extremely well. The first one day, we were really cruising. So the batting did a really good job. We were cruising, then a few bad shots in the middle meant that we had to chase the game. But the second one day, there was none of that. And like you said, we didn't chase the sixers. So when we talk about white ball cricket or T20 cricket, we always think that we are looking for this power hitter. So maybe we have power hitters, 1 or 2 in Pereira or Dasun Shanaka. But the others, they don't need to hit sixes. There are plenty of runs along the ground into gaps, and we showed if you can get 348, 58 runs against the West Indies, which is a very good team, it means that is what we can do. That is our strength, and we should continue to play at that.
Very good signs coming for Sri Lanka, and we'd like to take a closer look at a couple of the individual performances, especially from the second one day as well. Kusal Mendis and Avishka Fernando's partnership of 239 runs. That was just amazing to watch. Two youngsters. Kusal Mendis has taken a lot of slack from a lot of people for maybe a little wrong on himself in handling the media initially, but then when it came to his cricket, he's been up there. He's been spoken about by all the great cricketers as the next best thing to come out of Sri Lanka. And also Avishka Fernando, what a talent he's been for Sri Lanka, isn't it? And they've scored the highest third highest partnership for ODIs in any wicket. First being Jayasuriya Taranga, and second being Dilshan and Taranga. That's Sri Lankan legends for you there.
Yeah. So for two youngsters to talk about them in the same phrase as Mahela Mawan, which is the highest ODI partnership for the third wicket, and then Jayasuriya Taranga, Dilshan Taranga. So, and these are two young guys, they are 24. Avishka is probably younger. And for them to be in that category means there is a lot of potential, and which is what people have been talking about Kusal Mendis. We have criticized him in the past, we have criticized him on this show for his lack of performance, mainly in the shorter format. But we all understand his potential, and I was one who also said that maybe he needs a break from the shorter game. But he has proven us wrong. He's proven me wrong. He's come up and shown that he is ready to play one-day cricket and at the highest level. So I'm very, very happy for him.
Absolutely, that's exactly what we need as well. Sometimes criticism is aimed at players in order to make sure that they pick up their game as well. And Kusal Mendis has just done that, exactly that, taken his bat and let the bat do the talking. And we really hope that he will continue to let the bat do the talking for him. And one other player that we are very excited about throughout this tournament has been Wanindu Hasaranga. First game he won it with the bat, but more importantly, Jehan, I think come the second ODI, even in the first ODI, his bowling capabilities are absolutely brilliant. He's taken 3 for 30 in the second ODI, and also I think I remember us speaking about him a couple of shows back that he's actually a genuine batsman. And when you have a bowler who can penetrate in the middle overs, who is a genuine batsman, that's a big plus for you, isn't it?
Yeah, both Wanindu and Sandakan both showed the value of having a wrist spinner in your team, especially in the shorter format, because the batsmen don't pick him. You have less time in the air and less time off the pitch to pick the bowler. And West Indies struggled a lot in picking Wanindu Hasaranga, especially when the ball was turning. They didn't have so much of that problem at SSC because it was coming on a bit more. But here there was a little bit more turn for the bowlers, and both of them really controlled that game and dominated, and we were able to take wickets in that middle order. It of course helps when you have 345 on the board because it's very easy to build pressure. But for me, Wanindu Hasaranga is like the star of this Sri Lankan team. He has composure with the bat, he can bat with the tail, he can finish innings, he stays not out, takes the game right to the end, and really a lot of good things that I see in him.
And also Lakshan Sandakan, he's a bowler that was picked time after time for all the tours that happened maybe the last 2 years. Didn't get a lot of opportunity, wasn't very successful when he got opportunity. But come the second game, 3 for 57, like you said, the fact that we had 340 plus on the board would have definitely helped. But do you think finally Sri Lanka are reaping the rewards of trusting Sandakan to be part of the setup?
Well, he's definitely bowling better, but I'm not 100% sure whether we can afford to play both like two left-arm spinners and not have a stock spinner. We have Dhananjay De Silva in there if we need, or you have Shehan Jayasuriya, if he plays he can bowl. So maybe sometimes we might need that option, but it's always good to have Sandakan around, the Chinaman around. But yes, give him more time, let him play, and maybe he will, like Shane Warne took a long time to come up. And like we are patient with Kusal Mendis, just be patient with him, but I feel he needs more game time. Much more game time, because he goes on tours, he doesn't play regularly. Right. And it's difficult to play regularly. I know you have to manage your team and balance it. So just give him a bit more time.
So time is a very important factor when it comes to the players, and we really do hope that Sandakan gets a little more game time as well in order to try and test his bowling. And Jehan, something, while there have been a couple of players who've really put their hands up, something that has really impressed a lot of people is the fact that Sri Lanka's fielding has really improved, and we inflicted 3 run out in the 2 matches that were completed. There is new energy on the field that is very visible, and when you see that energy, you start believing that you can go on to win, isn't it? And do you think it's the new coaching staff's effect that's seeping into the team?
It's possible, the new coaching staff. I know Mickey Ate is very hot on fielding and fitness, so he is very strict on that. All of them, Angelo has lost a lot of weight, so well done, Angie. And he looks a lot sharper on the field. He's running between the wickets better, he's moving better on the field. So those are all good signs, and like you said, energy and belief. So moment you start believing, you have more energy. Moment you have more energy, you start believing more. So the two go hand in hand, and moment one of them drop. Moment you stop believing, your energy levels drop. And now everything is going on. From the first game, we were a bit unsure, but in the first game we had the energy, we didn't have the belief. Now we have both, and you could see that in the second game.
And also something Sri Lanka lacked in the past couple of years, past couple of months rather, is the fact that the habit of winning, isn't it? You need to get the habit of winning. That's why we squandered many chances that we could have easily won the game. But now, since we've won 2 games, hopefully they can clean it up with the third ODI in Pallekele on the 1st of March. Jehan, now the third ODI, we've already won the series. It's a good combination that's going into the first two games. We persisted with the same team for the first two games. Do you think the selectors and the coach will make a decision to try an experiment? Because we have four in the bench: Niroshan Dikwala, Dasun Shanaka, Shahan Jayasuri and Lahiru Kumar. Do you think there will be a change in the third ODI that's you thinking on the selector's shoes? And also my second question to you is, if you are the coach, will you make any changes?
Personally, I wouldn't make any changes because we're just getting some momentum going. We have had a bad run. The team has taken a lot of criticism in the media. The players have taken a lot of criticism. Coaches, selectors, all have taken. And we've got some really good, put together two good results. I wouldn't want to change that. Maybe if at all, just maybe give Lahiru Kumar a game because I like him. I like in the same way that Lakshan Sandakan adds that X factor with the spin. Lahiru Kumar has that X factor with the pace. And at Pallekele, there's a little bit more bounce for the fast bowler. So that's maybe an option that I would look at bringing. But apart from that, I wouldn't change the batting at all for sure.
All right. So, that is you personally. But in a selectors and the coach's mindset, do you think they, especially Mickey Arthur, would he want to take a look at, because just before the first ODI as well, he was very clear that Dasun Chanaka was very, very unfortunate to miss out from the squad, and Dasun Chanaka hasn't done anything wrong so far, isn't it? So, do you think there is a chance that maybe Dasun or Shahan Jayasuriya might come in?
Dasun might come in, but then Isurudan or Tisera have to move out. So maybe Isuru might move out and Dasun might come in. But again, the benefit of playing a series, like a 3-match or a 5-match series, whether it's Test cricket or one-day cricket, is that you get to understand the opposition. And by the first game, second game, third game, you know the lengths and the areas to bowl against a batsman. So you see a player evolve throughout a series, a batsman or a bowler. So the way Tisera bowled in the first game was not the way he bowled in the second game. The way Avishka batted in the first game was not the way. So you make those little adjustments. So by the third game, they will be actually better. So I think you should let the players play those series. Then they will do those adjustments to their game. So I would still stick. I think even from a coach's point of view, I'd want to keep the same team.
Right, very, very insightful thoughts coming from Jehan, and I do agree with you. It will be unfair on these players as well if they're only given one game to try and perform, and they don't have the luxury of adjusting to their opponents as well.
They will always be compared with the person they replace. Say Dasun Chanaka comes in and Tisera Pereira goes out, and if Dasun Chanaka fails, everyone will say, well, why did Dasun come in to replace Tisera? Tisera did so well, Dasun came in, he failed. Right. And then there's going to be that unfair comparison. Same with Isurudan, same with Lahiru Kumar, if Lahiru Kumar comes in, but that's why I wouldn't want to change it too much.
Okay, so that's how it goes. 1st of March will be the third ODI of the West Indies tour of Sri Lanka, and hopefully Sri Lanka will be able to whitewash the West Indies here at home. But now we move to the land down under. ICC T20 Women's World Cup happening there. Sri Lanka lost 2 games, one to New Zealand and one to Australia. First one by 7 wickets and the second by 5 wickets. But what's really troubling is the fact that we could have actually gone on to win those two.
Both those games, yeah, both were tight games. And as coach Harsh said, maybe we are about 20 runs short, but on the field we caught that up. We got wickets early on, but then poor fielding let us down. But it's good to see that we are competitive against some of the best teams in women's cricket. So
the very best in Australia, who are hot favourites to take the title, isn't it?
We beat England in a warm-up game. And then taking both New Zealand and Australia right down to the wire, it's really good. So again, it's that belief and energy. And if we just pick our fielding up a little bit, I'm sure we'll start winning sooner. And again, winning is a habit. And the women's team has not been in the habit of winning. Once we get into that habit, and we've got a lot of young players in there, which is very exciting for women's cricket. And hopefully more people will start following it.
Yes, and Sri Lanka came so very close. And the chief architect of Sri Lanka's challenge at this World Cup has been none other than Chamari Atapattu. She's been a class apart, isn't it, Jehan? 41 of 30 against New Zealand and 50 of 38 against Australia. And she's one of those world-class players in the Sri Lankan setup, and we need a few more of those in our setup.
Yeah, I mean, she's easily the best batswoman on the field. That is taking both teams.
Right.
It was New Zealand, Australia, or Sri Lanka. She's a cut above the rest. But again, that drives the others. She can be an inspiration to the younger players coming up, and they start believing, if Chamari can bat like this and Chamari can take the Australian bowling attack apart, why can't one of us do it? And there are young players in there, so it's really good. But like you said, if we have two more, maybe one more with the ball, and someone really agile and sharp on the field, things will fall into place.
Sri Lanka's next fixtures are going to be against India on the 29th of February and against Bangladesh on the 2nd of March. Now, unfortunately, due to losing out the first two games, Sri Lanka absolutely have to win the next two and hope for the other results to go in their favour to try and make the quarterfinals. But I think if they can maybe beat India, that will be their take-home prize, isn't it, from the World Cup, because India is also a very strong team.
Yeah, India is also a very strong team, and I think they understand our game a little bit better, and they might bowl slightly different to Chamari, but I think Chamari likes the ball coming onto the bat, and India might take the pace off the ball, but we'll wait and see how that goes.
Right, that brings us to an end of our program, and also end of this month, that's February, and we are inching closer to the real madness, the March Madness. Jehan, you personally are going to be a very stressed man come March, being in charge of the all-important royal outfit. How are the preparations going?
Preparations are going good, but like you said, come this time, everybody gets involved, everybody's anxious and nervous and want to do well. But you've had a whole season. There is very little that the players or the coach can do in 2 weeks to change what you already have. So what you have is what you've got by working over the last 5 months. And it's just a matter of belief and energy. Just believing the game that you have played for the last 5 months and having the energy to continue that over the 3 days at Royal Thomaian. And of course, the ability to handle pressure. That's what's going to be the difference. In these big matches, it's all about handling pressure.
Absolutely. It's going to be a very, very vital component, handling pressure. March Madness kicks off this weekend with Isipatan playing Thurston. The weekend after, it will be St. Joseph's playing St. Peter's at Pisara, with Anand taking on Nalanda at SSC. The weekend after that, the all-important Royal Thomaian happening at the SSC, and also Trinity College will play the Antonians up in the hills as well. Hilkanti Battle of the Blues. So plenty of big matches lined up for you. Make sure to log on to www.ThePapare.com, Sri Lanka's #1 website, who are bringing you tremendous footage from all these big matches. And the question of the week for this week is going to be, which Sri Lankan women's cricketer has the most T20I wickets for Sri Lanka if it runs? I think you will already know the answer. But which Sri Lanka women's cricketer has the most T20I wickets for Sri Lanka is the question. Do comment on this video on YouTube or on our site, and you will have a chance to win an amazing prize. Now, last week's question was, who was the captain of Sri Lanka when West Indies visited Sri Lanka last time? A little bit of a tricky one, because we've had so many captains in Sri Lanka lately. But the right answer was Angelo Matthews, and Sudarshana Peiris, who commented under our video, is going to walk away with the prize. Madhushan, you will be contacted by one of our colleagues very soon. And thank you so much for joining us for Around the Wickets, Jehan, and thank you for joining us and having a chat. And next time we meet, hopefully we will have another brilliant victory of Sri Lanka beating West Indies in the T20I series, which is not going to be as easy as the 50 overs, because as we all know, our West Indians are quite T20I mercenaries.
Yeah, but
going around.
I'm very confident seeing the way that we played in the one days.
There you go. We leave you with the confidence, and next time we will hopefully meet you with a victorious Sri Lankan story to tell you about.
NDB Cup 2020 ශ්‍රී ලංකා සහ කොදෙව් ක්‍රිකට් තරඟාවලියට අපගේ උණුසුම් සුබ පැතුම්.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos like this, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for our latest content.